Hello everyone, it's Catherine, and I wanted to talk to you today about a couple things. I know the energies are really intense right now, so here's some flowers, my beautiful begonias. Aren't they just glorious? A beautiful fiery orange for this fiery season of the 8-8 portal, right smack, well, not in the middle, but close to the crescendo of this energy. And as we hit 8-8, that's not even the full peak of the energies of the 8-8 portal. It's going to continue to kind of ripen up until the 10th. So a lot of you might be feeling super intense energies right now. I know I am. I went live in my Women Walking the Phoenix Path program today to prep all of our members for our exciting first day of class, which is on August 16th. And so you have time to join us in this amazing program. I'm so excited to teach it. I cannot wait. And so I was very candidly talking about the intense energies that I'm feeling. I know that you feel it too. Hi, Christine. So it's bringing a lot of stuff up, bringing up a lot of phantoms and echoes. Are not necessarily things that we might be going through right now, and it can kind of trick us into thinking that all this stuff is happening all over again. But a lot of it is just bringing up vestiges and echoes of things that we've already worked through. And this morning I woke up just feeling really, really sad, really depressed, really in pain. I feel like I was cycling through something very, very big and profound and ugly and nasty and icky. But I know, and I teach, that it's important when we have those moments to sit in the discomfort, to sit with it, to be with it, because even though we think in those moments where a lot of pain, a lot of really potent and painful and disturbing energy comes up, our first instinct is a survival instinct, right? It's a protective instinct. We want to protect ourselves against that pain, and so we want to push it away. But the reason that stuff is coming up is because you are at a pivot point. And this is an important reminder for all of you. It was an important reminder for me this morning. Sometimes I pay attention to my own teaching, and that's good, because it really helped me through this morning. So I let myself feel it all. I had a big, ugly cry. I ended up watching a video about someone's dog dying, and it was like a beautiful remembrance of that dog's life, and the connection between this person and their four-legged familiar. And I was just bawling my eyes out. I was bawling my eyes out, but I needed the release. And that was me facing the disturbance and the discomfort that I was feeling and taking it head on, and allowing myself that vehicle of watching that dog video to use that as like a passageway or a bridge for me to just release all that energy, to get rid of all that pent up energy within me that were, a lot of different things from my past that I realized that once I was interfacing with that pain and push away at it, I was with the discomfort, I was able to realize that, oh, this is just an echo. This is just like the last piece of this healing that I already did, that I already profoundly went through. And it's just, sometimes that's how healing energy works. Because we are layered, we are complex beings. And so when we let that go, sometimes that's not all of it. Sometimes there's just still little threads, little connections. And it can be in these fiery and intense times when we find ourselves in a really potent energy portal. That becomes the catalyst for helping us to release that last vestige, that last piece, that last cord, attachment, tether that's ready to go. And in those moments, and I reminded myself today that when we have that level of pain, when we have that level of disturbance or discomfort, when we're in it, it feels like forever, right? It feels like, oh my God, this is never gonna shift. This is never going to change. I'm always going to feel this way. I think it's a natural kind of impulse that we make this inference that if I feel this way now, oh my God, it's terrible. I'm always going to feel this way. It's always going to shift. But how many times in your life have you been in painful moments and it did shift? It did move. Something else happened. Sometimes maybe, very, very quickly the energy shifted or changed, or it was after a couple days or maybe after a couple weeks. And even when we grieve something, we lose someone or something and we grieve that, the grief might still be there. I mean, grief is a different animal, right? But we change and we shift, we move out of a certain layer of it, and that is always the nature of things. There is nothing stagnant or static in nature, nothing. Momentum and movement are part of a natural order of things. And in those moments where we're in the pain, not only do we need to remind ourselves of that, this too shall pass, but also that when we are faced with that level of pain, it is always a gift in the garbage, always. And it should be a cue, a signpost, a signal to you that if I have this level of pain here, it is me being shown that there is room for growth, that something is ready to shift. And that something with my energy, attention, and focus on it can shift a lot more easily than me trying to resist it. Most of the pain and displeasure and discomfort will continue because of our resistance to sitting with it, to sitting with the discomfort, sitting vigil with that part of our shadow, that part of self that needs our attention, that needs our love, that needs our, compassion, that needs our kindness. And it is in that resistance that we prolong the pain for ourselves. The longer we try to protect ourselves against the inevitable, the longer we extrapolate out and extend that pain out needlessly, oftentimes. And how many times have you been in that situation where you have seen that on the other side of that pain there is growth, that you started making different decisions in your life that were more self-affirming after that, or you started to look at life a little bit differently, maybe with a bigger lens or a greater scope that was more objective. And I'm sure if you give yourself a moment to do a mini life review that you can remember that you can realize that. It's just that when we're in the moment of pain, we're not very objective, right? So those are some ways that you can kind of shift through this stuff right now and use that during this time, because guaranteed shit's gonna come up. We're going through a lot of karma, we're going through a lot of ancestral stuff, we're going through a lot of shifting through the Rolodex of themes and emblems and symbols in our DNA signature that are from alternate lifetimes, from our genealogy, our ancestry. We have 2 full moons this month. Those are intense. The moon on August 1st was very intense. We have, with this 8/8 portal, it's like this high-powered mirror and a high-powered microscope all at once. The high-powered mirror is showing us all the nooks and crannies, the wrinkles, the cracks. Everything is being brought into high relief, high contrast, so that we can finally see it and let it go. This highly microscopic energy as well is taking things that maybe we've just looked at a surface level. It's taking us way deep, deep, deep down into like the subatomic particle of it, so that we can really, really see all the moving parts of it. I mean, it's a high-powered mirror and a high-powered microscope. That's what this 8/8 portal is all about. And so coming up on 8/8 at 3 p.m. Pacific time, I'm going to be doing a sound healing. And I'm going to be doing it live right here on my page, on my Catherine Massell personal page. And you don't need to, if you're watching this by someone else posting it or whatever, or seeing it somewhere else on my YouTube channel or on Catherine Massell wellness page, you don't have to send a friend request. My page is public, so you can just watch. Because I don't take a whole lot of friend requests anymore, because a lot of them are just spam for me, so I just kind of gave up and devoted a lot less time to doing that, because my time and energy is precious. And so I really want to fund it towards the things that are important to me, that I'm passionate about, where my zone of genius lies, and where I'm receiving the most pleasure and abundance and joyful energy that allows me to thrive. And anything that doesn't fit into those categories, I'm not really doing much of those anymore. I have really focused on and made a solid commitment towards living a life of less is more, which brings me into the other part of this talk. I want to help women have less, not more. I want to help women see how important it is to actually have less, experience less, rather than more. And yes, I'm going to explain myself. A lot of the ways that we're pitched to or marketed to that kind of plays on the heartstrings of women has to do with, you're a queen, you're a badass, you're royalty, fix that crown, girl. You desire more, you should have it all. Okay. You ready? So, when we're pitched to and we take the bait, when we're marketed to in that way, and we get into the FOMO, the fear of missing out, what we're doing is allowing ourselves to be a cog in a machine that we had no part in setting up, that we really don't have an active voice in for our own sovereignty and autonomy. And it is constantly buying into a concept, an idea, a system, and structures that place all of your means and resources for happiness outside of you. It makes happiness conditional. It makes your joy, your fulfillment, your completion, your level of wholeness situational. And true power, having autonomy, sovereignty, self-possession, is not situational. It's not circumstantial. It isn't conditional. Hi, Michelle. And when we are pitched to that way, marketed to that way, and we take the bait, you are agreeing that that is the case. That it is outside of you. That happiness is somewhere over there and you're over here. You will never find joy, fulfillment, a sense of completion, wholeness, satisfaction if you keep buying into that paradigm. You are your own source of nourishment in all things. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anyone tries to sell you. I don't care how good their marketing or sales tactics are. It's bullshit. It's a load of horse shit. Everything that you need is an inner resource you already possess. Yep. You want to know how I know? Because I was in that rat race of chasing as well. I was chasing the high-end clients. I was chasing, a fully booked out program. I've never really known what that's like, but I was chasing it all the same. Chasing an ideal that wasn't even mine. I even bought into and was baited into an ideal that I didn't even have any power of creating. I was just like, oh, this is how it's supposed to be. So it's not that you can ever really give away your power, but you can have it on loan. Some other entity or external source can borrow it for a while. You can't ever fully give away your power, but you can loan it out. And you can suffer under the illusion that you are giving your power away. And what it will feel like is a void, like a big empty chasm right below your heart, where you keep trying to fill it up. Keep trying to fill it up with more and more and more. And then you're hearing someone say, yeah, you're a queen, you're a badass, fix that crown, you should have more, you should have more, you should have more, you should have more. And you realize that big, empty, gaping hole, void, and chasm within you is so big no one can ever fill it up. No external thing, no matter how great it sounds, and you get it, it'll never fill you up. You're in a constant state of buyer's remorse. if you place happiness, satisfaction, wholeness, and completion on something conditional, situational, and something outside of you. That's just the God's honest truth. And I know because I lived it myself. And I went through a deep spiritual rock bottom. This is almost 2 years ago now. I was ready to quit it all. I was ready to go work at McDonald's. I was ready to completely halt everything in my business. I was questioning my marriage. I was questioning my value. I was questioning my livelihood. I was questioning how much I honor myself. I was questioning how much I even love myself. I was constantly disappointed in myself. The list goes on. I'm not going to bore you with all the details, and I'm not here to commiserate. But I'm just trying to illustrate to you what a level of self-betrayal and self-negation looks like when you are chasing this ideal of more that someone else somewhere outside of you is setting up, and you didn't even create this idea for yourself. You just kind of bought into it because that seems like what everyone else is doing. Everyone else seems to be doing that. And believe me, the irony is not lost on me that I'm here talking to you, to my people, my community here on Facebook, when it is these social media platforms that are largely responsible for why we're in a whole new frontier of psychology where we're battling new levels of guilt and shame and depression. That irony is not lost on me. But I'm never going to be one of those people that is out there showing you a highlight reel of bullshit that every day is happiness. I'm not going to lie to you. I am happier and I feel more abundant and I feel more fulfilled than I ever have at this point in my life. But it's not because I kept chasing more. It's not even because I kept getting more. It's because I started going after less. I chased less. I gave less fucks about external approval or external appearances. I cared less about the things that I could not control outside of me. I gave less attention, focus, and energy towards that. I gave less attention, focus, and energy towards drama, other people's bullshit. Again, things that I can't control that you can't control. I spent less time marketing, promoting, chasing clients. I just stopped doing it. You're not going to see me giving you a hard sell. Yeah, women walking the Phoenix path, everything I'm talking about here, we go into great depth. We go into great detail about how to live a life of less is more, and why this is so important now for women to fleece ourselves of all the bullshit, all the layers, all the accrued nonsense that we were told we should want. Because we've suffered so long when we're really queens and we should have all this shit. But all that shit, again, is outside of you. It's chasing something outside of you. And when you get rid of all of those needs that constantly feed another inner chasm that never has an end, your ego, once you get rid of all that stuff, it's like removing all of the dust and all the layers and the sheaths and the veils over all the stuff, all of the rich inner resources that were there for the mining all the time, that were there for the claiming all the time, that were there for the taking all the time. Only when you're living a life of less is more do you finally get to see that. You finally get to see that everything you're asking for is actually, it's me. It's here. You are the light that you seek. You know, that's not just beautiful poetry and bullshit. It's true. If you spend a life seeking happiness outside of you, it's always going to be conditional. If you spend a life seeking safety, stability, security, something outside of you, it's always going to be conditional. It's always going to be situational. It's always going to be circumstantial. And it never ends, because once you start on that hamster wheel and that roller coaster, it never ends. You'll never run out of things to want. You'll never run out of things to chase. I promise you. So when you pull that energy back completely and you dial everything back, maybe even sometimes, and I work with a lot of women who have burned this shit to the ground. All the things that they were doing, that they were told to do, or they were taught to do. A lot of the things that I was taught by business coaches, a lot of the things I was taught by any number of coaches, I have completely abandoned. because they simply don't jibe with where I'm at now. Methods, modalities, they're great. And for people who are in different stages of the journey, they're wonderful. I'm not discounting that. I'm not discounting what anyone does out there. It just doesn't work for me anymore. I had to go completely rogue. And I've always been that kind of person. But without going rogue or going maverick, I would have never found me. I would have never discovered that I am the light that I seek. I had to abandon, collapse, break it down, burn it all down. And when I did, and I started committing every day to a life of less is more, I only found more things to whittle down. Instead of finding more things to chase, I found more things to whittle down, to collapse. Hi, Megan. I'm glad you're here too. I only found more bullshit to deconstruct. I only found more tethers and cords to untether myself from, to detach from, because they were keeping an old version of me alive. And we know energetically that whatever is the strongest energy within you wins out. And if you stop giving attention and focus, in other words, investing or funding your energy towards old themes, old beliefs, old values, old ideas about yourself, assumptions about yourself, you stop giving them your attention, your focus, stop funding your energy towards them, they go away. They have no choice but to collapse. Thus is the nature of this 3D reality. Things only exist or are part of our reality realm because we agree that they're there. And how do you agree with anything energetically? You give your focus and attention over to it, over and over again. That's how we have collective agreement about reality. That's how you have agreement about your personal reality. Whatever you give most of your focus and attention to is real for you, and it exists, and it takes up a lot of energetic real estate in your own personal reality realm. So those things that did not vibe or jibe with me anymore, I stopped giving them my attention, my focus, my energy. I stopped believing they were real. And guess what? They stopped being real. And what I was and continue to keep giving my focus, attention, and energy to is what is part of my reality. That I am the light that I seek. That I have a lot of value. That I'm an incredible teacher and mentor. That I have a lot of wisdom within me already, and I don't have to constantly seek it outside of myself through whatever, other coaches or whatever. I feel very uncoachable at this time in my life, but that's okay, because I know that'll shift too. There'll be someone who comes along on my path when I need them, if I need them, and I believe and have trust that it will be so. Why? Because I have such great inner trust at this point. And it actually allowed me to cultivate such a great deal of inner trust to keep letting go. You have to be fucking brave to surrender. Especially if you feel safe and stable in everything you believe and everything you have believed up to this point, it's going to be a real mark of bravery and courage in order to let that go, to surrender it. And some of the bravest women I know are doing that. They have done that. They're in Women Walking the Phoenix Path. They're going to do it again when we start teaching this program again on August 16th. They're going to give up more. They're going to give up so much more so that they can be less. And I mean that in the best sense possible, because it is this kind of minimalist way of being that allows you to see how strong you really are, how brave you really are, how confident you really are, how incredibly wise and beautiful and loving and kind and compassionate you really are. If you're buying into the extremes of life, I did a post about the pendulum swing yesterday. If you haven't read it, please do. That you're not buying into these extremes of, oh, if you're not this, then have that. And it's this constant interplay between, if you're not this, then you have to have that. If you're this low, you need to be this high. No, it's the middle way. The middle way involves having a lot of curiosity about what that could mean for you. The middle way, the neutrality state, allows you to open your eyes up and really see the world as it is, not as you are or as you have been, with all your filters and layers and ego veils. It takes some bravery to let go at that level. And those are the women that I work with. Those are the only women that I work with, because it takes a level of commitment and dedication to be that brave. And you have to keep at it. It's not a one and done thing. It's not an instant gratification thing. It is something you must choose every day. Every day I'm still choosing. What can I let go of today? This morning when I had my breakdown, I chose to let go and just be in the pain. I was like, I have to do a live for my group. I don't want to have a puffy face. I don't want to be all inflamed and red. But I choose to let that go too. How I was going to look, or how I was going to appear or seem to other people. I let myself have the ugly cry. I let it all out. I let my body be racked with throbbing sobs, because if I can let that go, and I continually can be in a place where I can let that go, where I can sit with the discomfort, I can sit with the pain that I think is me, and I let that go, I'm only open to more. I only create the capacity to receive more of myself, of who I truly am, because I've let go of another layer, another piece of bullshit, another thing that wasn't mine. It was actually part of the collective. And until you whittle things down into the essence of you, like that minimalist essence of you, you're not in a place where you can really see it. If you're still chasing more, you're chasing conditional happiness, you're never going to be in a place where you'll really see it. Well, you'll really have the most intimate relationship there is to have, and that's the one that you're having with yourself. So, one day, or day one? What's it going to be, ladies? Because I'm here for you. This is what I do. This is all I do. I am in profound service, yes, to myself, but profound service to the women in my community. And I don't lob softballs. I do not hold hands. I'm not here to soothe and caress you and speak sweet nothings into your ear that are full of bullshit. We go to work. Yeah. We unravel some serious shit. If you want to build a whole new solid bedrock foundation for yourself, there's no other choice. Because you have to pull back all your energy from a version of you that is inauthentic, that is not based in the core essence of your truth, the version that you built up to deal with your trauma, to soothe your inner child, to appear a certain way to other people, to get approval, to survive. That version of you is not suitable to take you where you're going. And as women, as a collective, we don't have time to languish in this I'm a queen, fix my crown bullshit anymore. It is so empty. I'm sorry. If you can't see that, maybe we're not meant to work together, and that's fine. But I want to talk about real power. I want to talk about something way beyond situational, conditional power. I want to talk about the power that's already there, that's ready to be deeply mined, that's ready to be deeply exposed. And you are fearless about showing yourself in that light. Because I got to tell you something. If you fear losing people because of that, are you really losing those people? Or did they have something to gain from you not being fully in your power? And I won't lie to you, I lost some people in the last 2 years. And it's not that I always haven't been me. I've always been someone who goes rogue and a little maverick. And I'm outspoken, and I have opinions, and I'm not afraid to, go woo on people. I know my audience too, but I'm me. And not in a way where it's like an unapologetic, I hate that word, unapologetic, as if being yourself is something you need to apologize for. I hate that. Unflinching is a word that I use. And just as I'm speaking to you now very candidly, very openly, I don't have a script. I'm not reading from anything. This is just me talking to you, because this is who I am. This is what I'm passionate about. This is what I believe in. This is what I fucking do, and I'm really good at it. And the women who have been in Women Walking the Phoenix Path the first time around, they'll tell you, this program transformed them. They don't see their life in the same way. There's even a quote from one of the women who was in there saying, I will never look at my life the same way again. You don't have to take my word for it. I've been crying and driving. Oh no, I hope you can see the road. So I'm going to leave this here. So 2 things to take away. If you are watching later on, go back to when I talked about pain and moving through pain, because I know we're feeling a lot of intensity, a lot of potent energies moving through right now. Allow it to pass through. What's coming up are just impressions of the past. Be able to be discerning when something is an echo, a phantom, an impression of the past that just, it couldn't move through you the first time. And so really another thing to take away is that if it couldn't move through you the first time, you had a moment of pain, you had an event, a situation, that you were only dealing with that with all the information and the level of energy you had at the time. Forgive yourself for that. Honor yourself and value yourself for the information you had at the time and dealing with that situation the way you could at the time. Let it go. That allows you to pass through you too. The other way to let this information, this energy, this feeling, this impression pass through you now is to understand it wouldn't be coming up now if you weren't imbued with a new level of wisdom, knowledge, and strength about yourself. So a lot of phantoms and echoes, they'll come up again in your life to let them go, to really interface with them, to be with the discomfort, because you have a level of strength now that you didn't have before. How does that feel? Pretty good, right? So that's why this stuff is coming up now. And you have this very fiery portal to help this energy move through. What does the element of fire signify to you? Something that burns through, it purifies. That's exactly what this portal is for. So don't be afraid to face your discomfort. Be with it. You're stronger now than you were. That's why it's coming up now. Okay? Let it go. Let it pass through you. Let the energy move through. Feel the emotion. Feel the shame. Feel the guilt. Cry it out. Punch a wall. Do whatever you gotta do. Maybe don't punch a wall. But you know what I mean. You get the gist. And to help you with that, I'm going to be doing a sound healing, 3 p.m. Pacific time on August 8th for the 8/8 portal. It's going to be right here on this page. Don't need to sign up for email or whatever, any of that stuff. Just show up live. And the replay will be on the page. Also on my YouTube channel. The other thing, women walking the Phoenix Path. Hands down the most powerful program I've ever taught, and that is saying something. I am a prolific content creator. Anyone who's been in my field for a while will tell you I am a content queen in terms of information flows through me all the time. But this is the most powerful program I've ever taught. Hands down, no doubt about it. I have been crying and releasing anger for the past month. Then you're exactly where you need to be, Janine. Janine is joining us. Janine is joining us in Phoenix Path. And that starts on August 16th. So if this has hit you in the feels and you like my no nonsense, no bullshit approach, and that speaks to you, great. Come and join us. One day, or day one. And day one starts on August 16th. I'm going to put the link for Phoenix Path down below. Goodbye, beautiful shining ones.